and welcome to the Hopeful Autism Mama YouTube channel. This is our first post, so I wanted to explain a little bit why I wanted to start this YouTube channel. We are the proud parents of a child with autism. Her name is Adley, and I kind of wanted to explain our backstory of how we discovered that she had autism. It started when we had our first child, who does not have autism, but she did have a speech delay. And we got her speech therapy, and she completely caught up to her peers with that early intervention and was able to go into kindergarten without needing any special therapies or extra speech therapy. So when our second child came along and she wasn't talking, we thought, here we go again, speech delay, we'll get her some speech therapy and she'll catch up to her peers just like her older sister. However, we started noticing some other signs that she wasn't exactly following the same pattern as her older sister. So, for instance, Adley walked on her tiptoes all the time, just walked with her heels up, tippy-toe, all around the house. Then we noticed that she started not making eye contact and would kind of look down, and when you said her name, she would not look in your direction. So we actually ended up getting her hearing tested just to see, is she not hearing us when we say her name or what's going on? And that all came out clear. She had no problems with hearing. And then she also started kind of jumping, just here and there. When she'd get excited, she'd kind of vocalize and say like the letter E, like E, just kind of humming it to herself. And we just thought she was cute and adorable and just making sounds and wasn't that great. And then she also started kind of hand flapping a little bit. So these were all kind of signs that were different than her sister. She also liked to play by herself. She'd go off into a corner. She didn't really want to engage with anyone or interact. And so we ended up, I actually ended up taking her to her pediatrician for what I thought was just an eye infection one day, just at random. Her eye was kind of itchy, and while we were in the office, he met her within 3 seconds and knew immediately that she had autism. And he actually said that to me. He said, "You know she has autism, right?" And I said, "Well, I know that she has a speech delay, but we haven't had any testing or anything." And he was just very blunt and direct. And now that I know the signs of autism, I understand why he came out with that so directly and bluntly. However, I do think he could have used a little bit smoother tone, but I think he was kind of jaded and knew, he probably saw a million children with autism, and Adley was no different than them, and so he felt like he could just say that to me. But I remember calling my husband crying and saying, "The doctor thinks that she has autism. He just came out and said it like it was a fact," and I was very upset because, again, we were still trying to understand everything that was happening with her. So it did prompt us to get her tested for autism, so I am grateful to that super direct doctor for ripping that Band-Aid off, so to speak, and pushing us to kind of get her tested. And then we got her tested, and when we went through that process and they told us that she had autism. After about 3 hours of working with her, playing with her, asking us questions, they said, yes, she does have autism. And that was hard to hear, but again, we were kind of on the edge of, is this right? Is this not? They gave us a worksheet with a bunch of resources in our area that we could contact and things that we could do. And they basically said, well, we don't tell people that their child will never speak anymore, but we can never really predict what they can do. So she might be able to use devices and type to speak with you, and she may never speak, but we can't say that 100%. And then they kind of pushed us off on our way. And my husband and I felt like we were just kind of hit by a car. We're like, what is this? What does this mean? You gave us a sheet of resources that it didn't seem very helpful. And I'm not sure if other people have had this experience before, but this was just our experience with where we lived. So I felt like there was quite a gap of, what do you do from here? And a lot of resources that they gave us had wait lists that were extremely long. And everyone said, early intervention, it's so key for autism. Well, if you can't get in early, even with a diagnosis, if there's a wait list, you kind of feel scared and stuck that, okay, I'm trying to do early intervention, but it's not working because there's a wait list. You're blocking me from early intervention. So I just felt like there was a disconnect with what was available. So that's why I'm doing this video, and I'm starting this YouTube channel to kind of fill in that gap, that if you just received a diagnosis, or if you have experienced, autism for a long time, I hope that you can watch us and I can give you some tips and suggestions to help you connect with your child and just have some really concrete things that you can do in the meantime while you're waiting for services, while you're waiting for that speech therapy or ABA therapy or whatever you decide to do for your child, giving you some really concrete advice or tips that you can try. And if it doesn't work with you and your child, then it doesn't work, but at least give you a jumping board where you can just try something. That's the thing. My husband and I were just stuck. We didn't know what we could do. And we did not find anything that was like what I'm trying to do, to just give you some tips and direction right off the bat. So hope you like our channel and our content. If you do, please hit like and subscribe, and leave any suggestions of future videos that you would like us to make. Thank you.